morning, everybody. Hope everybody is enjoying their breakfast. We're going to go ahead and start our program. This is the 2022 Summer Research Academy, so welcome. This is our first in-person event in many years, so we're pretty excited. I have to admit I'm a little nervous. I haven't emceed something in person in over 2 years, so bear with me as I fumble through a lot of our slides and a lot of our logistics, but we're all excited for you to be here. I'm Carlos Quatella. I'm the academic advisor for the Build, Exito, and URISE programs here at PSU, and this is my colleague, Tori Blackwell. Tori's going to be handling a lot of the kind of tone setting for the week, and I'll be handling most of the logistics. Before we hand it over to Dr. Dixon to do a land acknowledgement, I also just want to welcome our partners from across the Build, Exito, URISE partnership. So we have our University of Alaska partners. Please say hello. You can clap for them. It's okay. They traveled far. We have folks from our Northern Mariana College in Saipan. Please say hello. Partners from University of Guam. Where's everybody from Guam? Okay. And then we do have partners in American Samoa, but unfortunately they weren't able to make it, but you are here in spirit. So, but I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Dr. Dixon.
Thank you, everyone. Welcome to the 2022 SRA. I'm really excited to be here today. But before we begin all of the awesome activities for the next 3 days, I want to start us off with an acknowledgement. We acknowledge the original inhabitants and traditional village sites of the land that Portland State University is occupying and built upon. The Multnomah, the Cathlamet, Clackamas, the Tumwater, the Watlala bands of the Chinook, the Tualatin Kalapuya, Malala, Wasco, and many indigenous nations that the Willamette Valley and Columbia River Plateau is on. It is important to acknowledge the ancestors of this place and to recognize that we are here because of the sacrifices that have been forced upon them. In remembering these communities, we honor their legacy, their lives, and their descendants. We take this opportunity this morning to thank the original caretakers of this land, past, present, and future. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful SRA.
Okay, so just some logistics before I hand it over to Tori to do some tone setting. Just remember to please sign in. Many of you know about the SRA funding, so to receive that, you have to be signed in for each day. We do have a couple of different things. Sign-in table, the Broadway door, so any non-PSU students or faculty that are having problems getting in, the Smith Memorial Student Union on the Broadway side, there is a door that you can come in and just knock on the door. People will let you in there. There is a chill-out room. Some people, this is like a huge event. We haven't been in huge events in many years. I'm a little overwhelmed, so I might go into the chill-out room myself for a couple hours. But that's in room 323, so not far from here. So if you need some time to be by yourselves, there's going to be some Legos in there and like sensory bags if you need a sensory bag, so like fidgets and things like that. If you do need a fidgets and sensory bag, you can go to the front over there and check them out. There is a lactation room as well, so if you need that, please go to the check-in area and we can give you a code to go in there. Yeah, and then just a reminder, we do have swag in the back. So we have the books, the journals, you know, a variety of other things too, if you're interested. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Tori now.
Okay. I am not nearly as tall as Carlos, so I'm just going to move this. Good morning, everybody. Yay. There's coffee, like y'all should be ready to move around and stuff. Okay. My name is Dr. Tori Blackwell. I am faculty over at Clackamas Community College. For folks that are not familiar with this area, it's about 30 to 90 minutes south of here, depending on traffic and travel routes. Looks a little bit different than Multnomah County, but that's why we have y'all out here. One of the things that I want to do is make sure that people know that as part of our morning introductions, we will be providing a little bit of space to appreciate different groups. And the group that we're going to take a moment today to talk about is essentially our Black population. I don't know how many people are familiar with this, but yesterday was Juneteenth. Yes. It is essentially our newest federal holiday. We got it as a state holiday last year. It is a national holiday that commemorates something that happened little over, about 150-ish years ago. So 1863, many of us recognize Abraham Lincoln as one of those great presidents because he freed the slaves. 1863, Emancipation Proclamation. That was great. Only took another 2.5 years for all the slaves to finally be freed. So that didn't happen until 1865 when armed troops rolled into Galveston, Texas and hung Order 3 on a door and said, guess what? Y'all have been working for 2.5 years. Please go quietly, but be free. So when that happened, that was in the month of June. They arrived on the 19th. And so the Juneteenth as a holiday is a combination of those two June and 19th pieces, so Juneteenth. As a federal holiday, now that everybody gets to participate, it's a holiday that people began celebrating late 1800s in lots of communities in Texas, primarily Black communities in Texas. It spread to other parts of the country, and now it is something that everybody should feel comfortable celebrating because really this holiday is about community, right? So you had all these folks who basically were being pushed around, had no control of their body, had no control of their minds, got no credit for the labor that they were doing, and this was all opened up, right? So you had that ability to reconnect. Now, not every community got to reconnect, right? There's some really horrible things that happened that made it impossible for families to reconnect like they would have wanted to, but at least that became a thing that folks could do. So just being able to celebrate that sense of community. I got to participate in, 2 different Juneteenth activities over the weekend, and that was kind of the overriding theme, right? That community, being able to reach out, and especially the way we've been living the last few years, like it got kind of hard to keep community around and keep community going. So having a space to reestablish that community was really wonderful, and that's essentially what we're doing today. We've got folks from all over the place that are hopefully going to be part of this community of science and research and helping communities and doing all these wonderful, great things that in return will hopefully help communities stay stronger, more resilient, more joyful, and more happy lives will come out of the community that we can get out of this simple room, right? So y'all may not have come into this room, thinking that you have all these things that you're going to be bringing forward, but y'all have so much to offer and have so many things that you can do that I really appreciate y'all's willingness to take this 3-day trip with us and see how you can fit into this larger community, because communities like mine will benefit from having folks like y'all coming into this space. So, thanks. So with that being said, a couple of things I want you to make sure you're thinking about is curiosity. Curiosity, I am guessing, is what got some of you into this space, just kind of wondering, I don't know what this is. I think I'll give it a try. Maintain that curiosity, because the curiosity is what helps people do things that maybe are a little bit different. Maybe don't look like how everybody else would be doing things, or maybe he asks a slightly different question than what other people are asking. So keep that curiosity, and when you see something during the event and you're like, that's kind of interesting, like go check it out. Like, be curious. Be willing to share that curiosity over the course of the next 3 days. That also means as you're interacting with other students, staff, people that are participating in the event, feel free to be curious there, and on top of that, try to be thoughtful. Sometimes people are interacting with cultures that they may not be very familiar with, and it gets really easy to ask a very unthoughtful question, and then people really end up using that chill-out room. So try to be thoughtful as you're interacting with the other folks in the room, and develop that empathy. Think about where they might have been coming from. If you've had to travel for 2 days to get here, you may be a little bit tired, you may be a little stressed out, you may not be ready for a barrage of questions. There are questions that sometimes arise and you're like, why did they ask me that question? This is not anything related to me, what is going on? So try to be thoughtful as you're asking your questions. And then supportive. And the supportive definitely runs both ways. Again, like Carlos mentioned, the chill out room. People may have questions. Feel free to support each other where you can, but also let us know where we can support you. So if there's a piece that you need or that's missing, we have information booths, we have other folks just kind of walking around. Reach out and let us know how we can be supportive of you so that you can get as much out of this event as possible. We don't want you to spend your whole 3 days in the chill out room. That's not going to be useful. So let us know how we can support you, and then make sure that you're also supporting each other where you can. All right, so those are my remarks. I believe we will have the provost. Here? Okay. I'll bring Carlos back up to help me with the emceeing duties.
So I am going to do something off script. So we do have 10 minutes. So we're waiting for the provost to arrive, and they should be here around 10:25 to transition into our next session or welcome. So we have 10 minutes. So if you want some more coffee, if you want some more breakfast, you can do that. So just go ahead and take 10 minutes. We'll be back, and then I'll introduce you to our fearless leader, Dr. Carlos Crespo. Okay, everybody, if we could head back to the tables, settle in. Introduce Dr. Carlos Crespo, who is one of the founding researchers of the Build Exito program here at PSU. And I just want to say before I let him up here that I've been working for Exito for 5 years, and the environment with Build Exito is amazing. I feel supported, and he's been one of the best leaders that I've worked with in my time in higher ed, which has been 17 years. So it's a pleasure to introduce Dr. Carlos Crespo.
Thank you, Carlos, and I did not pay him to say that. Well, first of all, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the first inaugural Summer Research Academy. Thank you. This is the first time we do it this way. It's been a concept that has evolved from an idea to the reality that you see today. We have had smaller orientations for Build Exito, which is a separate program. And we always thought that at some point we were going to scale Exito into something larger and take advantage of other programs that are similarly placed in giving you the opportunity to advance your research careers. It is my honor to be able to share this program with other programs from LSAMP, and all these names will ring a bell and you will hear more about them. McNair's, the Honors Program, the OHSU, PSU School of Public Health, Eagles, I might forget some, URISE, the Portland State Center for Entrepreneurship, they're gonna be here today. STEM, the Research Junior Cluster. So there's a variety of programs, and they might fit your interest, depending on where you are. For some of you, this is the first time you are here at Portland State. You've heard we have visitors from as far west as Guam and Northern Marianas, but we also have friends as farther north as University of Alaska. And we have friends, students who have been through Exito from American Samoa. So we have a very diverse geographical representation of what it is the United States. I also want to make sure that we do not move forward without thanking the people that put this together. And there's, I could mention names, and I'm sure I'm going to miss some, but Ms. Becky Miller, May Culberson, Kay Logan, Sarah Taylor, Cassandra Ramirez, Carlos Cuatela, Tori, Arjun, Jen Lindwall, am I missing somebody here? We have students who have been through the programs, Motu, Vida, Brandy, Courtney, Felicia, Sarah. There's names of people who have put a lot of hours cooking your breakfast. No, actually, we ordered that. So you had that. I've been saying that I cooked the breakfast, but I did not. Well, I don't want to take more time welcoming you. I just want to make sure that you feel welcome. This is an opportunity for us to share, to learn about how to collaborate with each other, look at your future goals, what you can do, how we are going to move the diversity of the biomedical and overall research workforce. Our life depends on your progress. So we want to do this for you, but we also know that you're going to do a lot of things for all of us. Thank you very much. I'm going to leave you with my partner in crime, Dr. Tom Keller, who 8-9 years ago, we started this idea as a concept, and we have tested and pre-tested. And he will give you also another words of encouragement, welcoming, and thanks our sponsor. Thank you.
Wow, it's wonderful to see all of you. I'm so grateful that you could be with us. I know that some of you have traveled very far. I myself was in Ireland just a week ago, so I wanted to be here for sure. This is such a big and important event for us and for you, I hope. We're coming up on the solstice, the longest days of the year, so you're going to be spending the longest days of the year with us, which we appreciate. And it's all about science and research, right? And I think you may not realize it, but you already do science. I mean, whenever you're curious, like Tori said, and you're asking questions and you're trying to get the best evidence and the best answers, that's science. But this is all about finding new approaches, gaining experience, developing skills, and getting to use some fancy equipment that is available at university campuses. So there are no right ways to do this. You'll get to hear about lots of different programs that give lots of different opportunities, different approaches, and what we need is your creativity, your perspective, your questions, your approaches. That's what's going to advance science. So your participation here is so important, and we want to open up all of these opportunities for you. So going forward, what I encourage you is to think of the core principles, C-O-R-E. Curiosity, as Tori said, open-mindedness, respect, and engagement. Because, again, you're the future, as Carlos said, of where we're going to be going in all kinds of sciences. And people who have the resources recognize that. They recognize the importance of your contribution. So our sponsors for this kind of event and the kind of programs that we're going to talk about are the National Institutes of Health, National Science Foundation. Really, the key supporters of this event are the state of Oregon. The legislature wanted to invest in you because they see that this is so important for our state and for our country. We also get sponsorship and support from Portland State University, our Office of Research and Graduate Studies, and our Office of Academic Affairs. So again, a lot of people have come together for this effort and put in the investment because we want you to have these opportunities. We know that you're going to do great things. We have great aspirations for you. No pressure. But I want to invite one of those people who invested in this and who supports this very strongly to share some words. So I get to have the honor of introducing our provost here at Portland State University, Dr. Susan Jeffords. A provost is the chief academic officer. So she's the boss of me and all the other faculty. She's really the one that sort of sets the tone for the university and the instruction and the opportunities for students. Her focus is really on the student experience. So we're really delighted to have her here to share a few words with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. That was very nice. And I want to extend another welcome and good morning to all of you. I want to welcome you to this opportunity, to the Research Academy, but mostly what I want to welcome you to is the excitement that you have laying ahead of you as you undertake your research activities. When I went to college, I went to a different PSU. I went to Penn State University, but I didn't know anything about research. I didn't know anything other than that my mom had said to me, you have to go to college. So I did. But I didn't know what to look forward to. The only things I ever knew about graduate school were if you want to be a lawyer, you have to go to law school. If you want to be a doctor, you got to go to med school. That's all I knew. But as an undergraduate, I had a chance for a couple of professors to say, do you want to participate in a research activity? And I was like, sure, why not, right? So I majored in both psychology and English, couldn't decide, and I was able to be part of a NSF-funded research experience that involved little white rats and some experiments regarding rats, and I became great friends with those little rats. I spent lots of hours in a tiny little room with lots of cages of rats, walking around with them in my pockets. And it was so fascinating and so exciting, but and I spent a lot of time talking to graduate students and professors in psychology, and what that taught me was, this is kind of fun, but I don't want to do this the rest of my life. So that research experience opened my mind to some things, but it also helped shape my own decisions going forward about my future. And so research experiences will shape you. It could be in a positive way, it could be in a negative way. I realized that wasn't something I wanted to do. I then had another opportunity to do a research experience in relation to the poet William Blake, fabulous visionary poet, English poet, who not only wrote his poems, but crafted and painted beautiful pictures that went with each of the books. So I had a chance to visit the archives that had the original copies and prints of those books. And it was an extraordinary moment to sit and realize that I'm touching the book that he touched, and I did a research project around that. Well, my brain got really excited about that too. And at the end of that, I said, well, gosh, I kind of want to do this for the rest of my life. And I ended up going on and getting a PhD in English. So those two research experiences were fascinating for me, but they really helped me figure out what I wanted to do for the rest of my academic experience. And of course, I ended up here, being provost of an incredible university, because I had those research experiences. So I encourage all of you to bring every ounce of curiosity you have to the research experiences you undertake. Ask tons of questions. And you should ask questions. The reason all of you are here, and I think Carlos indicated this, and Tom mentioned it as well, folks are funding all of you to do this because we're counting on you, not only to participate in research, but for research to be credible, for it to be valuable, and for it to be impactful. It has to be guided by the right questions. You can't just research something for the heck of it. You have to ask the right questions. And the federal government, for example, is putting millions and billions of dollars into research. But if we're researching the wrong questions, we are wasting those resources and indeed wasting our future. So what all of you need to do is bring your curiosity to your research projects, because we want you to ask the questions that we don't know to ask. There are researchers doing work right now who are thinking in a certain way because they were educated in that way. You're going to walk into one of those rooms and say, have you ever thought about this? And you will see a light bulb go on from a professor or a researcher who's going to say, I never thought about that. You're going to ask the question that will shape future research, that will shape the outcomes and the impacts of the research that is critical to the future of this planet. So talk about putting a little pressure on you. This is big time pressure, but I am absolutely confident that every one of you can step up to that pressure and handle and manage that responsibility. So I'm counting on every one of you to ask a question. Do not be shy. Do not think, well, that's kind of a dumb question. Somebody's already thought of that. Do not overthink yourself. Do not second guess yourself. Have the confidence to ask the questions that are going to help us learn more and plan better for the future. So congratulations to all of you for being here. I'm so super excited for all of you, and welcome to PSU.
All right. Can we get one more round of applause from the provost? Because the more applause that she gets, the more information she'll take to the folks that need to make sure the room stays full year after year after year. So we got to make sure that we really bump up the appreciation there. All right, the next activity that we are going to move into is the program introductions, because you've kind of got a little bit of like some previews around different programs that you'll get introduced to over the next few days. So we're going to take a moment to do a little bit of that work, and we're going to do it in the format of what's called an elevator pitch. I see a few of my students out there that have already started smiling because of the whole elevator pitch idea. If you've ever ridden on an elevator, unless it was a really, really big building, the elevator ride is kind of short. So you don't have a lot of time. And if you're to have a conversation with somebody in that elevator, the length of the conversation is sort of limited by the ride of the elevator. So you've already got this like kind of time constraint. And if you're going to have a conversation with a time constraint, you sort of have to have a plan. The person's going to walk off. And if you pick the wrong types of things to talk about, they'll probably walk out before you get to the good part. So these elevator pitches are ways for folks to quickly share really good information in a way that's going to engage somebody and make them maybe want to come back and visit and have a longer conversation either later on or maybe after they get out of the elevator, something along those lines. I can tell you from experience that there's nothing worse than being in an elevator with someone that's telling you about something you really don't want to hear about and then not knowing how to leave that conversation. So what's nice is that the folks that are going to give us their program presentations in that elevator pitch format really want y'all to be engaged with their programs. So they're going to do like an excellent job of sharing with you what they're all about. So this is probably one of those first moments to really kind of turn on your curious rabbit ears and be thoughtful and try to stay engaged as you get kind of a lot of information in a relatively short period of time. So take notes if there are things that, your ears kind of go from this to this. Like take note of that so you can make sure that you connect with those groups as we move through the event. And of course, to kick us off, who better than the Exito group with Carlos Crespo? I have you first.
It's me again. So, éxito, for those of you who speak Spanish, who knows what éxito means? What does it mean? Success. All right. But it's a corny name for something else. It stands for Enhancing Cross-Disciplinary Infrastructure and Training at Oregon. And we sold it, and people bought it. So Éxito started 8 years ago, funded by the National Institute of Health, and it was a collaboration between 10, 11 institutions, including Portland State, Oregon Health Science University, University of Alaska, University of Hawaii, Chemeketa Community College, Clackamas Community College, Portland Community College, the big Portland Community College with 4 campuses, Clark College, American Samoa Community College, Northern Marianas College, University of Guam. And we have worked through 2 phases of Éxito, and we are at the tail end of Éxito, and we have 2 more years. It was a package where the students were recruited as freshmen, then they get training as sophomore, and then junior and senior year, they spend time doing hands-on research with a research mentor. And it included a variety of opportunities for them to be involved with different type of mentors, peer mentors, faculty mentors, and their research mentor. Then we transitioned Éxito. That was about maybe 40 to 90 students, and we transitioned Éxito into what's called URISE, and that's a separate program, and the name URISE, it comes from NIH. But it's a very similar program, and it includes 2 years as juniors and seniors. They still do a lot of the same background preparation that Éxito students would do. So we will have more about Éxito and URISE, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brenda Glaskett. I'm the director of the Honors College here, and I'm also a professor in honors. So I'm really happy to be here. I think one thing that students often ask me is, what is honors and what is an honors student? Well, first of all of you are honors students, okay? So an honors student is someone who is curious about the world, who's excited about discovery and learning, who wants to be in community with other people who are excited in the same way. So if you're like, I would love to be in a class with other students studying all kinds of cool stuff who are excited to be there, and with a faculty person who gets to know you and really cares about you the whole time you're here, honors is a good place for you. So, okay, what is honors? It's both a curriculum and a community, and I'm going to break that down for you. A curriculum is a course of study. So in honors, you take essentially one course a quarter with us. So we fulfill most of your general education. There's always a series of classes at any university that you have to take in general education, and that's aside from your major course of study. Honors fulfills most of those requirements for you. And if you know PSU, we also replace the courses in university studies. So you would just do honors and not university studies. Our courses are really designed for students like you, students who are excited about research in some broad way. And that can include like artists, doing creative research. So our courses are really built around looking behind the curtain at how do scholars and researchers read and think and talk to each other. We want to give you the key into those doors that can seem really locked. So you'll get to hear more about our curriculum from our advisor, who will be here the next couple days in some of those concurrent sessions. But I also wanted to mention one of the special things about honors is you come out of honors here doing an honors thesis. And that is a project you design with your advisor in your major or in your research lab. And you propose and carry it out in your senior year, and we publish it. And the senior theses here are read all over the world. You can go to something called PDX Scholar on the web and look up honors theses, and there's a heat map, and you can see every day the downloads and where they're being downloaded. So if you're like, I would love to study things and go deep and then get published as an undergraduate, honors is a great place for you. I also want to mention the community. So we have about 800 students in honors. It's almost like a tiny little college, like a small liberal arts college in this big university that has all of these resources and the great opportunities of Portland. So it can be a home base for you. A lot of students really invest in their fellow students in honors. We have all kinds of events all year, from game nights and movie nights to volunteering. And movie nights hosted by professors, but students build those things. Student leaders come in and do a lot of this community building. We have special opportunities in honors for students to do internships. You can do internships for credit, study abroad for credit. There's all kinds of opportunities. And if you're wondering, is honors for a student like me? Absolutely. The Honors College here at PSU is the most diverse in Oregon and one of the most diverse in the country. 34% of our students come from diverse racial and ethnic backgrounds. A quarter of our students are the first in their families to go to college. Several of your professors are first generation. We have a diverse faculty. You're going to find a place for yourself in honors. And all majors are welcome. So check it out, and I hope you'll apply. And I just wanted to mention that I also represent the non-science side of research. I'm also an English PhD and also do archival research, which is really cool. So keep your mind open. Nothing like someone bringing out boxes and boxes of papers no one's looked at, and you get to go through them. Everyone knows about the headaches you get in archives. It's very exciting. So welcome. We're happy to have you here.
morning. Oh, come on, you can do better. Good morning. Okay, over there. I said good morning. There you go. Good arm. Good morning, that side of the room. Okay, I have a short arm. Oh, there you go. Over here, I don't hear you. Oh, close. Over here at the center, I don't hear you. Oh, there you go. She raised her arm. Last one. Good morning. Oh, there you go. Oh, I made it. Okay. Good morning. Oh, that was good exercise, right? That's my workout. Whew. My name is Juan Barraza. I'm the Director of Student Innovation at the Center for Entrepreneurship here in Portland State. And I cannot tell you, seeing you, all of you in the room, is the best way that started my week in this year. So thank you for being here. Round of applause for all of you. You're gonna go through a lot during your academic years in each one of your schools, and you're gonna explore the opportunity to do research and whatever your careers and professional academic journey will take you. At the Center for Entrepreneurship, we are here to provide you a pathway to explore, to put in practice what you learn in the classroom, all your research, and I'm here for a challenge for you. What can you build in 90 days with $2,500? That question we ask every year to any Oregon college student or university student for one of our programs called Invent Oregon. It's a collaboration. Invent Oregon is a prototyping competition for university and college students in Oregon, where students receive $2,500 in prototyping grants. They are developing in 90 days a solution that impacts people's lives, our communities, the environment, or solves a problem around the world. The only requirement is you need to build it in 90 days. It has to be a physical product in the micro or macro level. And at the end of the 90 days, you present and compete for $30,000 in cash. No restricted funding that you can utilize to pay for tuition, lab equipment, or anything you need. So I want to say thank you to Carlos and the Build Éxito program for allowing me to be here today. We are on our way to Grants Pass, Oregon. This year cohort is presenting their findings and their prototypes on Friday in Grants Pass, Oregon. I would love to see all of you participate and apply in the program. Applications open in September. For more information, just Google PSU Center for Entrepreneurship, click in Invent Oregon, and congrats on being here. As the provost, Dr. Crespo, has mentioned, we counting on you. In the last 2 years of the pandemic has taught us anything, our researchers save our lives, developing a vaccine in record times, and our future is in your hands. So thank you.
Good morning, I'm Carlos Crespo's twin. I happen to be a professor in the Oregon Health Science, Portland State University School of Public Health. This is a joint School of Public Health. It's actually the best joint School of Public Health it's the only one in the United States. Actually, there are some new ones that are looking our model about joining a research-intensive biomedical institutions with a comprehensive university. We have a School of Public Health. There is a very well-developed graduate program, but there is a very large and equally well-developed undergraduate program. I happen to be the former director of the School of Community Health before it became a School of Public Health. Some subtle differences. But being one of the largest undergraduate public health programs in the nation, about 1,500 students with 5 different specialties, from preclinical health science to community health, aging services, applied health and fitness, school health education. The School of Public Health is interested in developing graduate students and developing research skills for public health. And if you know from the pandemic, public health, this has been our Super Bowl, and people are very interested in learning more about epidemiology, learning about biostatistics, learning about health behaviors, health promotion. The School of Public Health has a bridge program to support students who are interested in doing research and working with research faculty who are doing research in the School of Public Health. So please, if you're interested in health science or future healthcare career, look at the School of Public Health, and we're more than happy to support you. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Becky Miller. I'm a senior research assistant in the School of Social Work, Regional Research Institute, and also a program coordinator with Build Exito. So again, a warm welcome. I'm, unless Alyssa Starry is here. Alyssa, are you here? I don't think so. Okay, so I'm gonna present a quick elevator pitch for the Eagles program and also the Junior Cluster program, which are gonna be presenting together on Tuesday and Wednesday. We've got the PSU Eagles Scholarship. It's a relatively new program here, and it is designed for students who are interested in environmental stewardship, equity and justice, and building connections between the rural and urban worlds. And it is a scholarship where you will get mentorship and research opportunities. It does come with a $10,000 stipend per year, which is pretty rad. And it is specific for students who want to do STEM, pollution research, environmental research, and then also to support students who are low income. And if you're interested, check it out during our concurrent sessions on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then also co-presenting with Dr. Alyssa Starry will be Rick Hugo, who is the professor that works on the Junior Cluster Environmental Science Cluster, and that focuses on green roofs. And Alyssa Starry also does green roof research. So if that piques your interest at all in environmental research, green roof research, what is that? You'll get to hear more on Tuesday and Wednesday if you drop by Eagles and the Junior Cluster room. So, all right, thanks.
Hi everyone, welcome. I'm Joyce Puretti. I'm the program manager for the Lewis-Stokes Alliance for Minority Participation. This is a program that's funded by the National Science Foundation, and we've been here at Portland State since 2009. I'm so thrilled to see you all here and to have the opportunity to tell you about the LSAMP program, because when I was a college student, I did not participate in programs like LSAMP, and I can only imagine how different my life experiences would have been had I been part of this program. So I would say we have kind of three key programming pillars. The first is really a sense of community and building community with students. So we have a physical center in Kramer, just across the way, and students have the opportunity to connect there, build networks and connections, hang out and have lunch, use the computers. It's just a great place to have the opportunity to build those friendships. Our second piece is academic and professional development and supports. So we have information sessions, we have workshops, we have opportunities to apply for scholarships, opportunities to apply to external opportunities such as internships. And then I would say our third piece is supporting students to prepare for postgraduate opportunities, whether that is going to graduate school and continuing your research experiences, or going into careers in industry. And our two key program offerings are research experiences while you're an undergrad, and we currently have our application open for students to apply and join a research cohort that begins in fall term. And we have about 13 projects and are accepting about 10 to 11 students for paid research experiences in a variety of disciplines. So that could be biology, could be engineering, tons of opportunities. And if you go to our website, all the project descriptions are there, so you're welcome to check those out. We'll also be at the concurrent session, so you can ask me more questions about that program then. And then another plug is for our climate and disaster resilience internships. So this was actually a new program that we launched last year, and we're continuing it on for this year, and we'll have about 15 slots for students, undergraduate students interested in climate resilience, disaster preparedness, and water resources. So if you're interested in exploring any of those opportunities, I encourage you to check us out. And again, I would say, as Provost Jeffords mentioned earlier, even if you're not sure sort of what that next step for you is going to be like, I encourage you to check out opportunities like research experiences, like internships, in order to determine what it is that you might want to do with your career and your future after you graduate from PSU. So thank you.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? I apologize. I'm very nervous. It's my first time public speaking post-pandemic, so thank you. So my name is Melissa Pierce. I am the program administrator for the PSU McNair Scholars Program. We've been here at Portland State University for 19 years, so next year will be our 20th year, so that's very exciting. We are a program funded through the U.S. Department of Education, and we are cross-disciplinary. So we accept any student who is in any degree program. So it could be English, psychology, biochemistry, Indigenous Nation Studies. We welcome you. So there are several components to our program. We operate in a cohort model between 28 to 32 students. We begin recruiting in the fall term, so around September, October, we open our application. And then from winter quarter, we begin in seminar format where you'll get upper division credit through the University Studies program. And during those seminars, you'll learn about what it is to do research, how to write research in academic papers, and also explore graduate programs. For spring term, that's when you'll be paired with a faculty mentor, and then really start doing your literature review, so you kind of learn what is a bibliography, what's literature review, methodology, those kind of different paradigms. And that's where you'll also begin kind of narrowing down your graduate school program search. And then during the summer term, that is when you'll be starting your research, and you'll receive a $2,800 stipend. And with that faculty mentor, you'll be doing the research, finalizing everything, and exploring publishing opportunities, and that's what we'll teach you during the summer seminars. And during those seminars, you will get tuition remission for those classes since it is upper division credit. We also provide not only the stipends and the tuition remissions, but also conference opportunities where you'll get to present at different symposiums like the PSU Research Symposium, the McNair Symposium in August, and even an opportunity to go to the University of Washington in Seattle in April for their McNair Symposium. And last but not least, you also will get to build community with the other scholars all across different disciplines, where you'll support each other, engage, and kind of really, kind of grow your brilliant minds and your curiosity, which is much needed in this world. So I will be here Tuesday and Wednesday to present more if you have any questions, and welcome to Portland State.
Hello, it's me again. I want to tell you a little bit about some OHSU programs that are going to be with us on Tuesday and Wednesday. This is really exciting because I think sometimes it can go unnoticed that OHSU has some pretty incredible summer opportunities for research. So we've got 4 labs in total that are going to be here on Tuesday and Wednesday. The first one is the OHSU Equity Program. And that is a program where you can spend 8 weeks working on a research project alongside a faculty member over the summer. These are examples of past internships, pretty focused on biomedical science, health science, dental, some policy. So it looks like there are a variety of options for doing the equity program. So they're going to be here. And then we're also, we have the Renew and the UCEDD lab. They focus on research for developmental disabilities, and specifically promoting health and equity, and it looks like they have a collaborative partnership as well. And the Renew Research Group is looking at specifically at the needs of children and adult groups with developmental and acquired neurodegenerative disabilities. So if you're interested at all in disability research, this group will be the one to hang with for sure. And then one more lab we have, which is focused on more on the biomedical sphere is the Gibbs Lab. So they will also be here presenting and doing Q&A. So all of our concurrent sessions that happen on Tuesday and Wednesday, you'll hear a little bit of presentation from folks, and then you get to ask questions. You get to sit in a smaller group with these really cool researchers, and like we said, no, there are no dumb questions. There's just your curiosity. There's just like all the things that you wonder about that you get to check in with our researchers about. So I feel like this microscopic cancer imaging, this probably goes a little too detailed for what I can actually present or say about this lab. So if you are interested, you can Google them, and you can also see them on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'm sure they will be really excited to chat with you. And now we're gonna do some grounding activities. That was quick. You wanna start it out? Yeah. Okay, thanks everyone for sitting through our quick lightning round of presentations, just a preview of what's going to happen at the SRA, and I'm going to pop it over to Carla's cue behind me.
You're going to be doing the breathing stuff, okay. Okay, so we started incorporating this into a lot of our activities over the last